Oh, there we go. There we go. All righty then. Successful Indie Author, 5 Minute Focus, episode 878. Don't waste time drinking bad beer. Okay, I don't drink very much at all nowadays, maybe 1-2 beers a month. And why waste time? Why waste that one beer drinking a bad one? So I don't. I always tell people I write pulp. I write fast. I write stories that engage. I write stories that read quickly. Doesn't mean they're bad stories. Doesn't mean they're poorly written. It just means they read fast. That's all. So you can always sell a good book, but you just got to always have good books. Even if you write them fast, it's okay. Even if they're not really long, it's okay. Readers aren't going to waste their time when reading by drinking bad beer and reading books that don't read well. So even if you write pulp, even if you write deep literary fiction, it still has to read well. It still has to appeal to that market, that target audience, and they can get through it in a way that's not too challenging. I mean, you don't have to try to bend their minds. And if that's your goal, fine. Just understand that not a lot of readers are up for that because they don't have time to drink bad beer. They don't want to waste that one beer a month drinking a bad one. So it's your book. It could be great, but is it great for a mass readership? Do you want to make a living at this thing called writing? If you do, well, then you need to sell a lot of books. It's easy to sell a lot of lower priced books and try to price every book at $49.99 for your ebook genius because people aren't going to pay that, especially if after you get a few bad reviews, because when it reads easy, it's easier to get good reviews. If it's hard to read, hard to understand, you're not going to get great reviews. And sometimes those reviews will affect future sales. So give yourself a chance to win. Write books that people want to read in a way that they want to read them. So this is right with the reader in mind. It's not right to market. It's right with the reader in mind. Make sure that you write to readers in a way that they want to read. They won't waste time reading a bad book. Give yourself a chance to win. Marketing to the wrong readers, that won't get you any sales. And it may take years to find traction. One of my first books, young adult, and I got reviews. This is young adult, and that was 7 years ago. So I put a new cover on it, put a new blurb, put it in all young adult categories, and guess what? It took off. Only sold 130,000 copies of that series ever since. Well, one of my last reviews on that book, now 7 years later, oh, this is all young adult. No kidding. That's why it's in young adult categories. And if you go on Amazon and look, the top 3 categories, all young adult. So it may take years to find that traction, but when you do, you can always sell a good book. Could I have written that book better? Yes. However, it's still a good story, and it flows in a way that readers read, and then they read the next book, and they read all 9 books in that series. So one sale gets me 9 sales, and they love it, and then they move on to some of my other stuff. So a big win. Write books people want to read because they don't have time to waste drinking a bad beer. Peace, fellow humans.